Today on this bonus episode of Get in the Lab, I'll be sharing a complete rundown of our first workshop, the Video Branding Lab, so that you can learn firsthand what our biggest mistakes were so you don't make them too. Plus, some actionable links for you from the workshop. More on that in 3, 2, 1. Plato said, "Know thyself." It's not always easy, but it is necessary. This is Get in the Lab. Hey, welcome back to the lab. My name is Megan. And today, we're going to talk about a complete rundown of the Video Branding Lab that happened on June 6th this last weekend. And this is a bonus episode. So every now and again, guys, we talked about the new schedule for season 3 coming out on Tuesdays. I think I said Wednesdays, but I'm saying Tuesdays. Okay, sorry about that. Because every now and again, something will happen like a workshop, and I want to keep that kind of real time updated with you. So if ever I have a bonus episode to give to you guys, which should happen, I'll just sprinkle those out, throughout season 3, they will air on Thursdays. Okay. So happy Thursday. We used to Throwback Thursday with a Throwback Thursday pick. So let's throw it up. Throwback Thursday to sometime way back when. Hope you still enjoy those. Okay. So, let me give a very first, just a big fat thank you to the people that came out, the lab rats that came out, and Anthony Tran, who came out and participated and spoke on SEO. We'll get into more on that a little bit later in the show. But it was incredible. Big thank you to Kevin, who documented it for me, who took really great pictures. We can show some of those right now. My sister Jenna, who came out and helped me record, get some great video clips and footage of me working, of Kevin working, of all of us putting it in together, and of Anthony as well. And so I couldn't have created what you guys are seeing right now without her. So big thank you to you. Thank you for doing that for me. Other than that, the day after the event, because I knew this was going to happen, because that's just how I am. I'm an introvert, and I can bring it when I need to bring it. But I knew I was going to be exhausted the day after, and my mind was just like melting on Sunday, which was great, because we had a chance to simply climb and hang out with friends, and it was a great way to kind of relax. But then my supposed relax day became now I have to relax from my relax day of having fun. So it became, really just mentally exhausting, but in a very good way. There's that mentally exhausting way where you've done something that maybe you hate or a job that you hate, and you come home and it's like, oh God, please just don't show me anything. I felt like that, but good about it. So it was good to feel mentally exhausted like that, but in a good way. I think that's a sort of pain that I love to go through, in that, workshops itself, it's a lot of work up front, and then you kind of roller coaster down into the event, and you just kind of let everything flow. But I really enjoy it. I was testing it. I've already held a workshop before about something that was kind of in my niche and with kind of people who were interested in what we were doing, but I hadn't really figured out who my people were. And so the big difference between that one and this one was that I learned a bunch of lessons from that one, and I was able to execute a better workshop here, especially now that I had built up a little bit of an audience. And we're going to go into more in depth on what it means to actually run a workshop of your own. It doesn't really take much, I would say. I don't think it's anything special. It's just a matter of doing the thing, right? So, it was really a good time overall. I just want to say up front a big thank you. Who this be? Okay. So let's go ahead and break it down to the days so you can kind of learn from my mistakes. Still made some mistakes that are easily forgivable, but possibly if you put on your own event, these are a couple of things that I've written down. You can find this whole post if you visit the link in the description. Everything that went wrong, what was going on with it, everything that went right and why it did, and a bunch of other stuff too. So you can visit that link in the description to kind of see my breakdown and my full show notes of it. And big change from seasons 1 and 2 to 3 is that I'm actually creating full posts along with these episodes, because you need to. I want to make sure that you guys are being taken care of. I don't just spit whatever on the mic or, in front of the camera and then just leave you hanging. I want to have a full rounded package of content, whatever I deliver a message to you. So, yeah, feel free to visit that link so that you can see it, kind of in text. I know that there are many ways that people like to consume content. So I just want to make sure what I'm putting out is well-rounded. Okay. So before I get into the event, I'm going to lay out, what it is exactly that we did. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, who was invited or who was there, who was it for, and why we actually put on a workshop. Okay. Before we get into it a little bit more, I would like to give a shout out to the Event Supremacy podcast. When I was like, okay, I'm going to hold an event. I've done one already before, but I know that there's a better way to do this and a better way to execute and to be smart about it. And I actually listened to the first 5 to 10 episodes from the Event Supremacy podcast by Vernon Foster, and it was really helpful. It was super helpful. He talks about events on a more grand scale, and I wanted something, very, very campfire, very intimate. So it was great to see what events can be, and then kind of cherry pick from those ideas and those concepts to make mine a reality as well. Okay, so what was it? Okay, so, we just had the video branding lab. It was a 1-day kind of live seminar workshop focusing on training the lab rat community, because I focused this to the, the lab rat community, and trying to teach them successful video branding. So if you had decided to use video in your business marketing or in your content scheme, there's a number of things that I've learned throughout, implementing video into my brand and being really all over the place with it and not very focused with the branding, to being really, really honed in as to what you guys see now in season 3, how every image kind of matches now, or at least I try to be very conscious about the branding and making sure what I'm putting out matches with the rest of my stuff, because otherwise it was just kind of all over the place and being very, very loosey-goosey with it. And it wasn't making sense throughout the stand. So, if somebody were to discover you via YouTube or even Facebook or maybe even Instagram, all these images need to make sense, especially when you don't have any brand equity, right? You haven't built up a brand. You're not established yet. So it's a lot easier for somebody to see or discover you on YouTube and want to dig in more when they see that the branding is consistent. So that's what the video branding lab was about creating a consistent image throughout your brand now that you were utilizing or wanted to utilize video. Another thing, this was my first one under the Get in the Lab, brand. And I understand that Get in the Lab is still very much in its infancy. So to capitalize on my online audience, so that would translate into a physical, audience attendance rate, I made the price ticket very, very low. And I included a lot of extra fancy things to just kind of make sure, people would show, kind of entice people. And I think that's something that's kind of semi a mistake, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so who was it for? So this workshop was for content creators who already had a show or some sort of regular content. They've kind of been around the block already about putting out content. So they weren't newbies. Okay. They had a business or a show already running, and they wanted to see how they could use video in their brand effectively, right? So I was teaching, the 3 types of video that you can use, the goal of which is to use all 3 to kind of create a well-rounded brand in this day and age, okay? So why did we put on a workshop? Okay, so I'm looking at notes. Isn't that a lot of work? Yeah, it is a lot of work. But like I was saying in the very beginning, it's the work that I really love to do. It's the type of I don't know, it's like the, there's probably a quote out there or something, but that kind of somebody would look at that as torture. Kevin looks at workshops and putting on a workshop is I don't want to do that. That's a headache. I don't like this buildup of doing a lot of work beforehand. And then you don't really get to see the results of that until on the very day of. But it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like wedding planning. There's a lot of this anticipation and creating things, and it's a way for me to be very, very creative and to create a sort of platform that is in real life, right? So I love being online. I love being behind my computer and like shutting out the world and just doing my thing and creating content. But for one day, you know, when you have your event, it's a great way to come out of your shell and really kind of exercise all this stuff that you've been talking about in real life. That's the whole point. And I don't want to lose these skills, and I want you to develop the skill of, you know, being in front of people and speaking and being able to host people and connect people, and just be a part of that, because the podcast community in general has been the most generous, most supportive thing I've ever had the pleasure of participating in. And this is, you know, it inspires me to want to give back as well. And I find that I really, really enjoy it. So for me, it's a chance to be with my people. And I was just talking with a friend. It's like, you need that. You need to be with your people in real life, talking about the struggles, the wins, the hustle, the grind, the journey. It really does make a difference from, you know, just sitting behind your computer all day and hoping and wondering if what you're doing is good. You know, it's just great to have that camaraderie. So, you know, if I can be a hub or, you know, a host for that kind of energy and vibe, then that's great. That's awesome. And I love that stuff. And for me, like, I feel strongest and more effective and have more purpose when it's like in person, one-on-one. So, you know, our event was a very small campfire-like feel to it. Definitely, we can talk about it getting more grand scale and everything, but certainly I love the campfire feel because we could address everybody's needs really, really specifically. That's great. Okay, so another thing is we gave away t-shirts at this event. I was going to show it, but I kind of forgot. We'll show it in the B-roll. And some thank you cards. And I got my shirts from discountmugs.com. They were super duper cheap because I wanted to see like if it's something that people would actually wear or whatever. It was a nice little test run. Discount mugs, I got like probably like 12 shirts for like $100, which is pretty good because it was a custom design and everything. The shirt is like a regular Hanes t-shirt, and I would say the print is not it already becomes like cracked and faded after one wash. So sorry, lab rats, sorry you guys, you know, they were just kind of test runs, so I hope you enjoy them. Hey, we still invested in them, but they aren't the best t-shirts. So I mean, if you're just looking for a cheap t-shirt to put your logo on, it's a great sort of giveaway. Not that expensive to invest in. So my goal was to create a workshop that, even though I wouldn't say I'm an expert in video, and I wouldn't say I'm an expert in branding. I wouldn't say I'm an expert in anything. The only difference between me and somebody who maybe has the same ideas as me, or maybe even is better than me, is that I actually did the thing. You know, we talk about, you know, executing on your goals and having the mentality to do what you want to do here on this show, especially in season 3. Sometimes it's just a matter of doing it. Whether you did it the best or not, hey, at least you did it, right? And you're going to learn from that experience and then move forward and make it better next time. The big thing is that you did the thing, right? There's a lot of people who talk a bunch of crap and be like, I can do that. That's easy. I'm like, well, do it then, bitch, and like show me. So I always kind of talk to myself like that. You know, you guys know the self-talk's a little rough, but you know, it just kind of keep it in check. Like, there were a lot of times putting on this workshop where, you guys know, I almost fell into a very, very dark pit of self-doubt and fear. And it was like, dude, why am I thinking like that? Why am I thinking that I'm not worth it, or I'm not worth whatever they're paying, or nobody's going to have a good time or learn anything? It's like, at least I'm doing the damn thing, right? So it's a great way to be like, you know what? I'm not the best. Yeah, sure. Okay, fine. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that I'm doing the damn thing. Okay. And if people come out and dig the jam, then that's all I want. And I'm satisfied. If I can help somebody do what they want to do and move past whatever obstacle that they were facing a day ago, and now they go, holy crap, it's not that hard. Now I can move forward in my life and in my business, then I am very, very happy with that. Okay, cool. So, another thing was to create an experience. Okay, maybe I'm not the best in video branding, but maybe I can create an experience that is memorable, that is really something special. And that's what I really tried to do. So we had, these t-shirts, and I hand wrapped all of them, and I put like thank you notes in them, and I wrote personal notes that I had a relationship with these guys even prior for them to come to the workshop. So I tried to really touch on those notes and just be personal with it and just be human with it. Like, I'm so grateful that you spent money to come to my event. Here, let me show you my best stuff, right? And even if the information is not the, like mind-blowingly awesome, I don't know. We have some testimony from them. But at least you had a good time, right? You had a good time hanging out. You had a good time hanging with good people. Everybody was kind of on the same page. Nobody felt left out. So I tried to create an example an environment and an experience that was memorable. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so setup. I'm going to break down for you guys everything, because I think it is important to break down everything. You need to see the sort of grand scheme of an event and be like, okay, so what are the details? What are the details? What are the details? And make sure those are in check, and just kind of refine your process as you create an event. Okay, so setup. Took around 45 minutes to set up. We gave ourselves 30 minutes to set up. So fortunately, somebody was late, and we were like, okay, he's late. And I wasn't even looking at the time, and I wasn't set up already. We were having issues with the projector, and it ended up that person who was late became a no-show. And so let's talk about this no-show, okay? So you guys know, or if you hadn't, we had a free ticket kind of running around, sponsored by Podcast Movement. And Podcast Movement, together with Jared Easley, sponsored a ticket to the Video Branding Lab. And nobody had really given me a reason to award it to them until somebody reached out to me and said, I love what you're doing. Can I pick your brain on branding? Da 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 da. And after I talked to him for about 30 minutes, I was like, this kid's a hustler. Let me award him this scholarship. And I said, hey, we have a scholarship going on tomorrow. Can you make it? And he was like, yeah, okay. I was like, all right, cool. I'll get your stuff ready. I'll give you the code. You get in for free, no problem. And then no show. And then I get maybe an email saying, oh, I couldn't make it, and I'm going to call you out. I'm not going to call you out. But if you're watching this, now you know I'm calling you out. So that's all right. That's all right. I realize that one day's notice is maybe not enough for some people. However, if you do get the opportunity to do something like this, I really, really hope that the excuse is valid. Anyway, no worries, dude. Maybe next time. All right. But anyway, so we had a no-show. That was the story behind that one. Is it my fault that he didn't show up, and that I only gave him one day? And was I setting myself up to fail during that time? I don't know. What do you guys think? I would love to hear it in the comments. But yeah, it's no big deal. I mean, I'm very grateful for Podcast Movement for creating that scholarship for somebody, but it just feels kind of. Because, it was a free ticket, and it was a chance for you to kind of chill, and somebody else could have gone in your stead, for free. So I'm just saying. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about pricing. Okay. So we charged $97 for a pre-sale price, for a 6-hour workshop with headshots, and not just headshots where I go shoot you outside. We did green screen shots. So I realized that is a shit ton of offer for a very low amount. But I don't know. I'm kind of a big believer in, hey, this was my first time, and I wanted a very low, barrier to entry. And I wanted to see who was willing to pay. I got feedback and suggestions from other people who have put on events, and it seemed like that was going to be okay. So I think that we could have made a better better maybe profit, but that wasn't really my intention. We could have made a better profit if I opened the gates wider and if I marketed it more. But 97 is easily, a lot cheaper than what you're getting. So thank you guys for understanding that, and understanding for the people who came, for understanding that, I'm getting a great value for a very low price. And perhaps, moving forward in the whole price psychology thing, they're like, only $97 must be shit headshots or shit, presentation or something like that. So it's definitely something to take note of. That'll kind of be the last time that we charge $97 for what we do moving forward, now that we have, we're kind of well equipped in the mind. And I think, I was talking to a bunch of friends, I have a lot of mental hangups about pricing and about sales. And this is something that I never really dug into because it's uncomfortable for me. So, that's the biggest red flag. If something is uncomfortable for you and it makes you feel a little, you kind of have a little, squeamish feel about it, that's what you need to kind of address. So moving forward with the show, it's great because, the focus of season 3 is going to be about mindset and about mastering that mental game. So, I have a major kind of block about money issues and dealing with money. And I think many of you lab rats can relate to that, issues about money. And we are going to really dive into that, with the mindset thingy practice in season 3. So I'm excited because I know that's where I need to improve and kind of have a better perspective on. And I want you guys to join me for that adventure, for that ride. Okay. Definitely got to work better on the sales funneling of that workshop. It was definitely the weakest link in the chain. I can execute very well on giving, but I have, just sort of a block about asking. I'm not sure where that comes from. I'm sure we can really dive in deep with that, but we're not going to get into that today. But yeah, like I said, we're going to get into that as the episodes roll on. Okay, let's talk about timing. So we finished early, which was good and bad because it was good that we had a lot of time to address everybody's problems specifically, like dive in deep, like here's a live demonstration. At the same time, if my assumption of the timing that we needed was we were always early, then my assumptions and gauging of how much time that I need is bad, right? It's not as accurate as it needs to be. And I don't need to be to the T, but I need to know what's going on, and I need to be kind of self-aware about how much time I actually need to execute things, right? So that stuff needs to be honed for sure. Okay, documenting. So next time, I really need a videographer with proper audio and proper video coverage. My sister did a fantastic job with not being a videographer and not understanding certain things about documenting. And for me to just throw her in and be like, here, press record, which we did that last time. And it just, sorry. So next time, I've got to have somebody who's not related to me taking photos and video and actually understands how to document an event. That way I'm not worried about tech, because this is something that's a big problem for a content creator who does everything by themselves. Your mind can never be 100% in what you're trying to deliver. You're always worried about tech. Like right now, I'm always going to be looking at the time or my computer or my camera and making sure that, things aren't shutting off or overheating or whatever the hell. And that's difficult. It comes with the territory, it's like, that's what it is. That's the grind, right? The struggle is real. All right. But yeah, next time, definitely we'll get another videographer. Okay. Shooting was really easy, really quick. I only left it open to have 5 maximum attendees. Now I know I can bang out I could probably for an hour long shoot and banging out what we did, which I think, the green screen shots are going to be really highly usable in content creators' brands. They can just slap them on anything and make it look really nice and boss with backgrounds and text and promotional images and cover photos and all stuff like that. I can bang out 30 people in an hour. With probably still room for chit chat and stuff, because that's what you do during a shoot. So now that I know that 5 people is nothing, I can certainly do a larger scale sort of workshop if I decide to do that later on in the future. the interaction between the attendees, there was only like 3 to 4 people. So for me, that was very hard to attend to everybody. But the beauty about hosting an event that they talk to each other, right? So sometimes I forget about that because I'm not a social person, and I don't do that thing. I'm learning. But yeah, it was great. Everybody was kind of on the same level. We were all learning something from each other, which is awesome, because Get in the Lab, like I said, is not just me spitting at you. It's a community. It's all of us. We're in it together. Okay. And yeah, that was super great. I really appreciated the people that came, because they weren't afraid to step out and lead conversations and ask, questions and upon questions upon questions. So it really helped. Nerves. I didn't feel anxious at all. My voice cracked only because you get that little waver in your voice just because your voice is friggin' dry. Like what? For those of you who speak on a regular basis, like how do you sustain your voice? My throat hurts so much the next day, which it always does after I talk for more than like an hour. So imagine like a whole day of talking. It was really, really sore. So I would love your suggestions in the comments about how to kind of maintain your voice, or is this something like an exercise, or is how you deliver your talking? I'm not sure. Okay. Really excitedly, Anthony Tran from the Marketing Access Pass came, because he's local here in California, came and talked about SEO, on-page SEO, and a lot of really cool tricks about how to use certain SEO software and what to look out for and what are the most important things to focus on. Because if you go down that SEO road, there's a whole shit ton of things that you can learn at how to bring traffic and how to do this and how to do that. So he really broke it down for us to keep it on a very like semi-advanced level. In our speak for our needs, and really give us a great base at which to understand SEO more than just SEO Yoast plugin, right? So really actionable stuff from Anthony. I'm gonna have sort of I'll have a resource page here at the end that you guys can download for free from that workshop, because I want to share that with you. Okay. All right. So my biggest lessons were, to always deliver more than expected. I'm a firm believer in that, even though, so just for me, like, I have no problem delivering more than what I ask for. I think that just kind of plays to taking care of the people who are actually paying the money to come out and see you and to learn from you and take time out of their day and maybe time away from their family to be there, at your workshop, your little thing. So always to deliver more than I ask for. Another one, I can't worry about tech. I can't be, having my mind split 2 places at once. So I need to have all of the tech just kind of taken care of, where I don't have to worry about it, and I can really be present with the attendees moving forward. That's something that's definitely on my radar. Overall, I think I'm just super grateful to even be in the position of putting on a workshop. And, let's talk about that, position. I felt I needed to build up an audience before somebody could come to my workshop. I don't think that's necessarily true. However, for me, it makes me feel more comfortable and more confident about putting on a workshop, but I don't think that's true. I think if you can come out with a very crazy best product, right? And you market the crap out of it, and you have sales funnels and pages in line that show people and illustrate to them how much value you are offering, even without an audience. You could definitely do that. It just takes more time and probably a bit of a team behind that. So for me, being that I didn't have any capital, I don't have a team, it's just me. It worked better for me to build a little bit of an audience online with the show, and then go ahead and launch a workshop. Plus, I was still kind of figuring out what do I want to teach people. Like there's a bunch of stuff actually I could teach people, how to use their cameras or how to make video or whatever. But like, what do I really want to talk about, and what's going to be easily executable for the first one, right? Because definitely I could give a lot, and I took out so much from the presentation for the workshop, because I was like, that's too much, man. Like, I feel like I'm not giving away everything, but like it's overwhelm. Like for the first one, let's just start off simple with the video branding and talk about, consistent imaging and branding and things like that. So, I just made it easy on myself too. But definitely, you could definitely go run a workshop, just do your research and beforehand and have things in place to where it's, everything is kind of systemized. What was the best way to say that? Okay. Workshops, it's a lot of work up front. Anybody can do it. I think it's great if you can host that, because now you become this authority figure or a leader within that niche, or at least whatever you're trying to, whatever your message is about. And it's a great way to just stand out. Also, it's a great way to give a platform to somebody else. Like Anthony's stuff, man, it blew me away. He has so much knowledge. It's insane. And I love that he's still a hustler, and that, he understands the meaning behind, whether it's speaking at, our little event or speaking at Podcast Movement, he's still giving his all. And I so appreciate that, Anthony. I so appreciate how much time you put together, for your presentation, and just the attitude that you had. You were just like, I want to give your people the best. I want to know where they're at. I want to know what's going to work best for you guys, what's going to be the most helpful thing. And he adjusted his presentation based on, everybody's questions. And so he was just freaking on it, man. So shout out to you. I love it. I love what you're doing. And if I can offer you another stage again in the future, I definitely will. Definitely, it's a great way to give back to your community. The people in your community are not just your followers and fans. They're people who have their own messages to spread that are really great, and they need to spread, right? So I love that Get in the Lab can be a sort of springboard for other brands and other messages, for sure. We're definitely going to have a 2.0, a 3.0, a whatever, more and more workshops going on. That was my very first sort of goal when I was starting the workshops. I wanted it to be a regular occurring thing, so that people could come back and be like, yeah, we talked about this last time. Now I'm right here. Can you help me with this? And we're all kind of growing together, so I really love that. And definitely that's something that I'm going to really keep my eye on out for. So like different venues, co-working spaces, making it more of an event and more of an experience, and really hitting on those notes, I'm super excited. Definitely going to take the photo thing to another level. It's a great way to utilize my skills as a photographer, and not to think of my time as a photographer as wasted time or anything like that. Now that I'm retired from shooting officially from weddings, but it's a great way to bring that skill back and into our realm, right, as content creators, and not in the wedding space where I'm not particularly too passionate about. All right, guys. So we're going to close up shop here. I have some special links for you, like I mentioned before, from the workshop that are going to be really powerful for you moving forward in your business. It's a great way to kind of check the gears and maybe tweak some things so that you can create a better visibility for your website online. So I talk about a couple of links in there that I learned from Anthony in our workshop, and just some stuff from the workshop that I taught as well, in a special resource page for you, okay, for those of you listening to this episode. So you can go to the link in the description and download it there. Okay. So, good things, guys. That was a full rundown of the Video Branding Lab, our first workshop. Look forward to many more in the future. I'm excited, man. I'm stoked, because it just goes to show me, like, I wasn't even nervous. Next time I'm going to freaking stand up and not sit down when I present. That was kind of I was like, that's so stupid. Why didn't I stand up? Anyway, yeah, there's going to be more to come. I'm very excited. I'm so happy you guys are here. And stay tuned for more of these little random bonus episodes in between the main show. Okay? So good things. Season 3 is in full effect. Next week, we're going to talk about this whole issue of starting over. I just went through a kind of rebirth, so to speak. And this whole month is going to be about this rebirth. I'm really focused on, I was at the brink, guys. I was at the brink of, like, I don't want to go on. Or why am I here? Like, why am I here, man? Am I wasting my time? Which is something that I think we all struggle with. And I think we're going to keep kind of hammering that away, because it, you know, in seasons 1 and 2, I would hit on a really great subject and it would be gone the week later, or even the day later. So it's great that the show is now kind of once a week, twice a week kind of thing. That way we can really let ideas and concepts and things kind of marinate within me and then within you to make your life better, to make it, you know, what you really want it to be. We've got to let these ideas kind of marinate so we can actually make a positive, lasting change in our lives. Okay, so good things. Don't forget the link to all those show notes are going to be in the description, so you can download that at your leisure. And yeah, good things. We'll see you next Tuesday. We're going to talk about starting over, okay? Next Tuesday. So good things, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm lucky to have you here on the Get in the Lab podcast. Once again, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab. We'll see you. Peace out. How's it going? So thanks so much for sticking around to watch this to the very end. I hope you guys enjoy that. A lot of B-roll overlay for you to see of the workshop. Gonna have like a official like highlighted video series of the workshop where you can hear you know, the attendees and what they had to say about it and what they learned. Pretty cool. I'm actually editing that right now. But anyway, like this episode if you did. I really appreciate it. It really helps. Leave me a comment on those things. What was I asking about? The throat thing, right? How do you maintain your throat? That would be really helpful moving forward. I think I'm talking too much, but whatever. Subscribe to the channel and become a lab rat today. All right, so thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.